Hi, folks. We are here at the MIXCON as online stream talk. We are talking today with the managers and the bookers about the situation we are all at these days. If you're watching at MIXCON, you have the chance on the below to ask your questions. The most rated question will be asked to these guys. And if you're on slido.com, you have to use the hashtag MIXCONline. I want to welcome Markus Nisch, booker and manager from andhim and owner of Return Booking in Berlin. I want to welcome Mickey Weicker, Artist Alive and Ask My Management with MARCEL, DETTMANN, LOCO and some others. I want to welcome our Dutch friend Hatim, manager of Nicky Romero, and welcome Frank, manager of Robin Schulz, Alle Farben, HUGEL, blah, 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 and many others. Welcome, guys, and thank you for your time. We are here to discuss and talk about your work while the Corona pandemic. And yeah, so we had great talks the last weeks with festival promoters and with artists, and now you guys as the back office of all these big artists. So let's start with the first question. What are you doing right now after the stressful series of cancellations? Is there anything to do at the moment, or is everything settled for the all movements and cancellations? Michi.
Drinking normally, I'm talking. It's actually an interesting time to see where this all leads us. I mean, a lot of shows just got moved actually to or copy paste to 2021. I think it's already coming some new promoters right now just trying to use the chance in the countries where already some shows are allowed. I think it's a challenging time for everyone because it's technically like a weekly change of informations, who and where you can travel, what is allowed. Now we're facing problems again in Switzerland. And so yeah, it's an ongoing process right now. I think it's the only thing what you can do is actually using the time to prepare and plan next year and hope that there is the vaccine at one point. Because if there is no vaccine, I think we will always face challenges and changes. And I think it's maybe not even coming back to normal, let's call it like this.
How about you, Hatim?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the only thing you can do now is make the best of it. At the other side, you know, for artists, what I can tell is that a reset is pretty good. The creativity is really coming back, new ideas, so they can. I mean, for example, like Nicky is doing a lot of studio time, a lot of studio sessions with people. You know, I didn't even know that he wants to go within the studio, and amazing music comes out of it. So it's also a great moment to make the best of it and really look for new direction music-wise. And it's also, I mean, what we're trying to do, I mean, you see like thousands of live streams. It's getting a bit too much. So at the moment we are looking for like, hey, how can you really make yourself like special? So he's doing a lot of cool stuff and creating like plugins to produce. So he's going more into the tech stuff of producing. And I think we need to, I think all managers do, like you need to find new ways to earn money. You know, it's pretty easy, you know, because music, like for an artist, like music is of course an income, but shows are like a big part of it. So at the moment, we are creating like a stash of music, working on new ideas, new directions, and just go with the flow at the moment.
How about you, Markus?
I'm a bit privileged because I have some artists from Switzerland. One of my artists, they played 5 shows last weekend. 300 capacity, but hey, they were busy. And it's really fun. It's really fun to work on the things again that we are missing since March. And I think after the last few months, we are quite sure that the most important thing in our our business, or in my business, is like these live shows, this interaction artist audience. And I think we all a bit I'm maybe tired of seeing any internet streams, live streams, because that's not what it's about. That's not, it's just, it was too much, and it filled the gap, but now we would love to concentrate on smaller shows again and like building something up for 2021.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Frank?
Yeah, we used, as Michi said, we used the time to reschedule for all the shows for next year, to rewrite all the invoices for next year, which takes a lot of time because it's always also work. And we also tried to create income with the possibilities we have given by the authorities, like those car shows. We did a lot of virtual gigs with like companies, or what we do actually plan at the moment is like a prom night for the people who finish their school, like the exams. We do a prom night in Berlin in the weekend club, all virtual, but it creates income. So it's of course not the same like the last years, but it's still possible to earn money with like gigs. It's a bit boring to sit in a car watching a DJ on stage, but people like it because they have no other chance to see or listen to DJs at the moment. So yeah, and on the other side, as Hatim said, all the artists sitting in the studio and creating music like hell. I see severe problems for all the labels to release all this music because they now produce on stock, and they have like tons of releases for the next few months or for the next year, which is also good. So on this side, it works really well.
So my next question is, do you guys have already new business for 2021? So like not about the shows moved, but new requests and new shows and whatever maybe other business you're looking for because of the uncertainty. Markus?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what's new for 21, which was not moved from 2020. There are some. We have some stuff which are not 100% confirmed for next year. Besides of all the lot of the festival shows that we got already moved to next year. I think for non-shows or non-festival projects, it's maybe still a bit early for 21.
How about you, Hatim?
No, I agree. You know, it's still, even though we like already months in this crisis, it's still too early. You know, at the moment you can just say, listen, like Q1 next year is maybe our like a small light in the sky where we can go to. You know, but it's a lot of rescheduling, and now it's like September and then October and then November, and then it's, you know, the agenda is so it's a lot of rescheduling, and I think, to be honest, like new things will come when we are getting out of this crisis. So also a lot of promoters and people in the music scene are like having again the faith in the scene to do new stuff, you know, because everybody's really afraid of a new wave. So everybody's really like holding it and looking, you know, until like November, December to make new moves. Because to be honest, at the moment, even next year is also not really sure, you know, because we don't know what this virus is going to do and if it's coming back, if it's coming back worse. So our scene is really getting, yeah, we really in we're the latest, you know, we are like the last one in line.
Yeah.
And it's also really frustrating, you know, if you see like restaurants are opening again and the cinemas, and you can even sit next to each other in the train and in the bus, like here in Holland.
In the airplane.
Exactly. And the only thing we are like debating here in Holland is it's like the festival season, because you can only party outside until like September. So where I'm afraid of is when it's all like when we're out of the crisis and it's almost September, then we need to go into the clubs, and they're saying, yeah, but the clubs is only like for 250 people max. So you know, it's really frustrating for a lot of promoters. And what I can see from now is that people are like doing new stuff, but not in the music scene, which is of course not good for us. So what I'm hoping for 21 for next year is that we all getting like that faith again, like that we all that promoters are gonna book again and gonna throw parties again. So you cannot really talk about next year, to be honest. You know, we can only reschedule, so the shows are still there, but still that's like unsure.
I agree. How about you, Frank?
So really new stuff. There isn't a lot. The only thing which is kind of new is this virtual Tomorrowland, where they try to create a virtual festival worldwide with selling tickets online. I'm a bit curious if this will work. But no, other new stuff I don't see. There are some more like private events on boats or somewhere on the water on islands, where only like 50 or 100, 200 people can come to this party. Most of them are really private. But this we also had like the last years when people like booked the whole island, inviting their friends and doing big parties. No, but nothing really new. The only thing our artists try to like do cross promotion. Some of them they like to do barbecue. Now they're doing like cooperations with cocktail sauces or barbecue sauces, doing barbecue online. Or cooking with the Maggi Cook Studio.
Yeah,
the Germans know that. Yeah.
I had 2 weeks ago. I had Upfire, and he said he even didn't know that he's such a great baker. So he's just baking his own bread and that and that. So yeah. How about you, Nicky?
Yeah. Hey, on the business side, like the bookings and stuff, I totally agree with everyone. I mean, we're kind of lucky. We working with some industry partners which are really trying to achieve something right now, to build relationships with actually the hitted people, like, you know, club owners and stuff, and working on several programs for them, just how they can help and implement. So like one of the jobs right now is like this, Jägermeister Save the Night as an example, where a lot of things happening. They donated like 1 million euros to nightlife and stuff like that. And there's a couple of like brands which are looking into like, hey, also how can we help? Because if there's no scene left when it's getting back to normal, then also a lot of industry partners losing a lot of things. So I think that's a kind of like looking into it where you can create a business, because it's a little bit frustrating to see how the scene in general destroyed everything because it's just out of live business driven earnings, you know, and there is nothing besides that. And that's kind of like, you know, and if you see like the film industry, and you have from like the cinema to Netflix to public TV, there's like certain income streams they still have, and music it's technically done. I mean, you get immediately when music is out, and I think that's kind of like where a lot of people now are jumping in, and I don't want to name too many big ones, but they like working also on like ideas how to generate money, you know, and we really trying and working on building communities for the artists, where even like people can go on board and they're a fan of an artist and they're getting like exclusive content from them, and they have something which they were missing before. They're very close to the artist, and for that, like they pay a monthly like a retainer just to support the artist, but on the other side also to get exclusive content earlier because they want to be close to the artists. And you know, like we're having others which doing like I say tutorials right now, and it's like it's incredible how supportive people are and how many people subscribe and buying tickets for that. And if you ask me like probably 2 months ago, I would say like there's never an income stream, but it's like it's 100 subscribers paying $100 and it's like $10,000 they make, which wasn't on the table before. And I think also like the software development in this kind of cases, it's a challenge to find the right ways, but there is definitely money to make. For an artist and also for an audience, they see it way more wider than before. Before they would never spend money to support an artist because they were like, hey, if I go to a party and I have to pay 50, 60 euros sometimes entrance, why should I pay this guys like monthly retainers when they hear like, oh, they're getting 200 grand, whatever show. And now they also understand, hey, like even these guys don't tour. And for the smaller ones, it's actually a totally different time. We're having people who are still using the chance that everyone is home and growing every day their audience by 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people and building a fan base. So I think that's the kind of how I see it, because the rest, I think it's pretty unpredictable what will happen.
Okay. Can you guys hold on for 2 minutes because we have to do a restart because Facebook have problems. Everybody's watching, keep staying, and we are back in 2 minutes.
Na gut.
So we are back again. Thanks for being patient. So my next question to you guys is, we had really like 2 weeks or 1 week ago this Live Nation article. Do you think this all crisis will affect the DJ's fees next year? Because you saw what Live Nation posted with all their new requirements and rules they have. What do you think about that, Hatim?
Well, yes and no. It depends how good the agent is and how how stubborn the manager is. No, but you know, it, when we look at, of course, it's like, hey, how big is the party? We all losing money here, you know, the artist, the manager, the promoter, you know. So if I don't think we should like discount a lot, you know. It's like, hey, I'm gonna play for half of the fee, because then you're like messing up the whole scene, you know. But I think, to be honest, I think like if the festival season or like the parties are like gonna continue, everybody wants to go out, and I think the promoters are gonna see that back, because people want to go out maybe more than even before, you know. So for example, maybe you're gonna sell out even faster than you know, maybe the year before or 2 years before. But I don't think like reducing the fee will solve the problem. You know what I mean? Because it's not that we are asking crazy amounts of money. You know, everything should be reasonable. You know, and of course there are like different kind of festivals. You know, Asia, for example, is a different kind of ball game. You know, it's a different kind of world, different kind of fees. The US is already going down in fees. So if you're going to reduce the fees in the US, then, you know, you can not even pay your ticket to the US. You know, so I think a lot of things are going to change. That's for sure. But I don't think it's too soon to say, hey, we're going to reduce fees.
Okay. How about you, Frank? What's your thoughts on this?
I see it the same. In the end, it's always a thing of give and take. So if a festival sells out, I don't see the point to reduce fees. If there are problems, if there will be problems with like selling festivals out or reducing the capacity, then of course we are always like ready to talk to promoters and to find a way to make things happen. But in the end, if they want to pay 80%, they only will get 80% from the DJ. So we have to reduce everything, like the visuals, light, SFX, everything needs to be reduced then, because usually the artist pays for this.
What do you think about what do you think about the Live Nation requirement and the rules?
They're always fast with like dictating new rules, and they try to get all the other promoters on board. And we will see where it ends. As Hatim said, if the agency stands strong, and if there won't be a reason for us, if we don't see the reason to reduce, we won't reduce. If we see reasons like which make it like necessary to reduce fees, we will be able to discuss that, of course.
What do you think about it, Michael? Nicky?
Yeah, I have a little slightly different opinion in a way, because we're also producing a lot of shows by ourselves. So, I mean, we are lucky we are right now based in Germany, and the government, I think, hey, they can always do better everywhere, but they're supporting as much as they can right now, I think, the scene. But if you compare it, and I have a lot of talks with promoters in the US, and there's companies who are having to pay 300 people right now, and they can't do any show probably for the next 9 to 12 months. So in a way, like Hatim said, like, or maybe they sell out faster show next year. Yeah, but they still just sell it out. So in the case, they make the same amount of money, you know, and so if you ask me before what I'm dealing with normally, then it's like this, you know. It's like, so in this case, he has to pay the people, because if not, they're all losing the jobs. So as even they sell it out next year, they're not making more money. So they're losing probably double in the case. So I think I agree with Frank. You have to look in every individual case to go with it. But on the end, we are all in the same boat. And I think like literally a lot of countries are hit very hard. So I understand as well if a promoter needs a kind of fee reduction in the case that he lost a lot of money and weren't able. And I think this is also kind of, challenging situation for like artists. And it's like one of my artists said before, it's like, hey, it's a new beginning. It's like all the cards are getting mixed new, and you have to understand where we go. And I literally agree with that, which doesn't mean that we should do half price discounts for nothing or whatever. But I think it's very, you have to look into the details to work together, because if there's maybe no festivals anymore, then we also don't make money anymore.
What do you think about it, Markus?
I think we have to look at it case by case. I think what I don't like is this general approach about like all shows deduct 20% in 2021. We don't know what we will do next year, how the situation is next year. And I agree, like Frank is said before, if the show will be fine in 21, it will be sold out. I mean, why should it be reduced? On the other side, I mean, as Michael said, we are in this all together, and we want to be sure, and we have to be sure that a lot of promoters will survive, a lot of festivals will survive, because we are all in this together. So of course we have to be flexible, but I think that doesn't mean that we have to be already now confirming some numbers or some deductions without knowing what we're doing in 21. Of course, I mean, if a festival will be not as busy because there's still some regulation or whatever, of course, we should talk about a lower fee. But that doesn't mean we have to confirm it now without even knowing.
Yeah, so
and that's what we do at the moment already, because the shows we play at the moment, we know that there's a limitation in visitors, and so we said, okay, we don't play for the regular fee, we play for a fee which is like suitable for the size of this show. Yeah, and this we will also do case by case next year.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what's going on with this Live Nation requirements. So we are seeing in Switzerland the smaller club capacity. If this comes to the world and will be accepted before all festivals and open airs, and I think Hatim, Frank, and Mickey, also I think andhim, would you send back your artists to small clubs, Frank?
Of course. When they, for example, when they play in the US, they play like only club shows, like 7 clubs a week. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about 300 people clubs, like in Germany or France, Italy.
I think it's a good way to find back to real DJing when you play for 300 people in a club. And most of our DJs, they love that. They say, okay, I don't care about how many people stay in front of me. I just want the party going on in front of me. I don't care if there are 5 people or 5,000 or 50,000.
Okay, so 300 capacity club with Alle, Farben and Robin Schulz would be something you would look into it.
Yes.
How about
no
you?
Other reason, of course.
Okay. How about you, Mickey?
Hey, we're doing it already, mostly just for the people we always played, to help them to do something. It's not even a money case in this case. So we're doing already shows in Switzerland. We're doing obviously really with the partners. We try to work something out what's possible to give also something back to the scene. And I think that's literally the good part of it, that it's finally also happening again in the club, because before it was like always another promoter, always another festival, and now it's kind of like nice to also get probably new people back into maybe our music, because they want to go out, and if this is the case where they can listen to and they want to party right now, there's a good chance that you reach new people as well. So I think it's definitely something which everyone should contribute in, because we'll earn later on again the money also as that.
Okay, how about you, Markus?
Nearly all of my artists are very keen to play smaller shows if that's the only option, to perform live in front of an audience. A lot of them had always like a mixture of like the bigger shows in summertime, the festival shows, sometimes the big raves, and in between smaller club shows as well. I think it was this mixture. Now, without the festivals, without the bigger events, they are all keen to do it. And from the experience with my artists right now in Switzerland, they said they love it because it's a quite refreshing, intimate atmosphere at the moment. People are really into it once again. They appreciate club life again. Before, sometimes there were some club nights where people just were in a club and say like, that's what I'm doing on a Friday or Saturday night, like the usual thing. Now they appreciate once again to be clubbing or to be allowed to go clubbing.
Okay.
That was the feedback from Switzerland.
How about you, Hatim? Do you see Nicky in small clubs?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, what Frank says in the US, the clubs are already like small, so we doing that already. But it also depends on what the normal cap of a club is and what they're doing with the club itself, because you don't want to create like awkward settings.
Yeah, I totally agree on that.
And the last thing I want is like running to like a VIP club and that the dance floor are only tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there need to be kind of rules, you know, because we all know that promoters, everybody wants to make a dime, but now I think it's going to be much further than only the technical writers, but also like, hey, what the setting is going to be. And to be honest, Nicky loves like intimate clubs. You know, we just confirmed like here in Holland on an island called Texel. We're doing 3 shows this summer, and we're doing like on a day 3 shows for 120 people. So like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock in the evening. So it's like a mini concert, and like the radio, everybody is loving it. So it's intimate, but I think we need to start again from the bottom. You know, so it means that, you know, if it's a 200 cap or 100 cap or 400 cap, if it's in your own country, it makes sense. When it's like for example, in Italy or another country, then you of course need to make sure that it's not going to cost money. Like Frank earlier said, you know, you cannot bring your VJ, LJ, LD photographer, the whole. That's going to be tough. So it's going to be a different kind of show.
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting to see that they're already on 75% cap in Italy. You know, I mean, it was one of the hardest hidden countries, and they back to club life with 75%. This is like actually incredible, you know, and we can't do any show in Germany still.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah. So I want to welcome the new viewers and want to mention, if you're watching MIXCON, you have the chance here in the below to ask your questions, and the high-rated one will be asked to these guys. And if you're not watching through MIXCON, then you have the chance through slido.com with the hashtag MIXCONline. So how does it feel like you as managers are really a lot of on the road? So how does it feel for you guys to stay at home? And are you afraid to lose your airline status?
It's looking so serious.
Markus, let me know. No. No. Frank.
No,
No. Markus, explain.
No. No, because I was tour manager back in the days. I had all my gold and whatever cards, and now I'm not flying so much anymore. Sometimes, I mean, back before Corona, it was like once a month, and that was, in my opinion, was more than enough. I'm not an artist. I don't have to be on the road every weekend, and I have a daytime business from Monday till Friday, and then sometimes you appreciate your Saturdays and Sundays at home or at your private private time where you are in full charge and full control of what you're doing on the weekend. And do I miss flying? To be honest, no. Do I miss meeting people in person? Yes, I do. That's what I like. But I'm not missing the traveling so much or airline miles.
How about you, Frank? How about you, Miles?
Oh, I
From
received a
Horn to
letter.
frequent traveler, back again, back to frequent traveler.
I received a letter by Lufthansa saying that my status will be saved until 2022, so it's no problem.
Oh yeah! Wow. So that's the way the 9 billion goes. Okay, got it. How about you, Nicky? The same letter, or using other?
No, I think it's hey, using the time to do different things, you know. And I think it's if you totally constantly in this wheel traveling, doing this and that, and you finally have now the time actually to work on like everything what was like needed to be done like a year ago. You have the time to do it or develop, like we said before, new ways for the future, setting up new softwares or whatever. So I think it's just kind of like, hey, using the time, and also, hey, using the time with the family, which you normally not have that much.
How about you, Hatim?
Yeah, I mean,
What's the Dutch status, the KLM status? Doing well?
KLM.
It's existing.
Yeah. KLM, we have the ultimate platinum, which is really rare. But if you fly economy, they never give you an upgrade. So, you know,
Okay.
I don't know why we're having it anyway. But yeah, and besides that, being home a lot, you know, it's pretty weird. I mean, my kids are calling me daddy, so it's you know, it's still something new for me, you know. But now being home, having a lot of family time, you know, it's really like a reset. You think about the business, you think about you have chats with people in the company. You're talking about things you never talked about earlier because the time is really rare, you know. So you can really build something again and think about new opportunities, you know. Nicky is like gaming. He loves gaming. He's doing like a lot of Call of Duty these days, and you know, that's also opening like a new business, you know, because brands want to also be in, like, they love like a DJ who's also gaming. So it's pretty funny how things are going. But and I do a lot of gaming too these days at home. So you know,
But without brand.
yeah, nobody wants to. Nobody wants to sponsor anything, you know.
And that's why I was inviting you. So that's
Yeah, exactly. So I ask all the sponsors for Nicky. I say, yeah, but he needs to have 2 joysticks too.
okay. So what is your biggest challenge while staying home, Markus?
The biggest challenge. I think it's. No. I think no. I think the problem was during April and May not meeting people, not the possibility of having meetings or stuff like that. Not meeting your artist when it's on the phone or when it's online. It's still something different than to meet people in person. And I think that was a bit missing. Thanks God we slowly but surely meet in person again and talk about things in person. Yeah, I was missing that a bit.
Mickey, what's your biggest challenge?
I think you have to ask my wife.
Or the kids. When is Daddy going? When is Daddy going back again on the road?
Hey, yeah, I think it's also like Mark said, like, hey, you meeting normally so many people and you have like so many like social contacts, which is like kind of weird. Don't have that. But yeah, hey, organizing even, I mean, we were Corona positive very early when we wasn't used to it at that time at Ray. So the whole office got shut down, and you have to organize everything then like in different offices, which was kind of challenging because you weren't used to it at this time, and it came from one day to the other. And yeah, we were not like, it was way longer before the lockdown, so we weren't like prepared actually.
Hatim, how about you? Your biggest challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge now being home is that you need to be part of the family, you know. So, which means you need to get to it, you know. You need to help. You need to be active at home. You know, I'm dealing with 2 kids. One is 4 and the other is 2. And and when you're home, you know, then we really need to get into it. You cannot leave it up to your wife, you know. So so it's more also being a husband here and making the difference by you know, like in the beginning when the kids are not going to school. It's also like a lot of, you know, if you think DJs are doing entertainment, well, you know, fathers are great entertainers too, you know. So you need to fill up the day and make and reduce the stress level, you know, and everybody needs to have their time, you know, like you need to have your time. And it's harder for us, to be honest, because you also need to work. But you know, it's also like the balance, you know, and that was pretty hard because it was pretty new for everybody in the crisis. And now, you know, we're going step by step more back to the office and everything. The schools are open again. So to be honest, that was pretty tough.
How about you, Frank? Your biggest challenge?
To be honest, I thought about it while you talking about that, and I had no challenge because for me nothing changed during the so-called lockdown, because I still was in the office because we built new offices in the building next to our old building, and so I had to like watch all the craftsmen to do their job and organize everything for the movement last month. And so I have been to the office every day. I was the only one. The other ones, they all were in home office. But for me, it was like a regular job like before.
Okay. So what's your opinion about this all online performing and streaming? So it's like 100 of streaming. We talked about it in the beginning, but what's your thoughts about this, Michi?
I actually can't see any DJ anymore in underwear DJing in the house. I mean, it's definitely much, you know. I mean, I really like what lately a lot of promoters doing, and it's special setups and it's super cool, nice venues, and then I totally understand it. But there was a time where I was like, if you open social media and you just see DJs at home, it's just like, I think I couldn't see it anymore. I couldn't do it. So I didn't watch any more social media at this time. But I really like it. What is lately coming that also in this case, you know, people thinking about what to do, where to do, how it makes special, because they also think like, hey, we have a responsibility to do something better than others. And I think that's, again, the quality comes through. So that's very nice to see that a lot of people thinking the same way.
How about you, Markus?
I just wanted to say I hate it, but Michael is absolutely right. There were some beautiful setups of a lot of live streams. Beautiful setup, really lovely done. But the mass of streams from every dark bedroom or small dark or club room was far too much. It was a mess of podcasts, of streams. It was just, in my opinion, far too much. And yeah, that's why I can't see it anymore. I want to see live shows again with real people, not just one person in an empty space or even a nice environment. No, I can't see it anymore. Don't want to see it anymore.
Did Meili actually do a live stream from his bedroom?
From my bedroom, no. I would love to do it from my when I'm in the toilet. Like this would be the amazing, the most amazing live stream I ever seen this Mexican guy who fall in sleep. Have you seen this? He was mixing, and he was smoking so much weed, and after 2 hours, I think, or 1.5 hour, he fell on sleep on his computer, and the stream was going on like for 3 hours, and everybody was watching him sleeping. Amazing. So what's your thoughts about it, Hatim?
Well, I agree with everybody. Too much. First of all, if you, I thought about it like when we first were hitting the crisis and the lockdown. But the first question you're gonna ask yourself is, okay, if you're doing a live stream, what is making the live stream exclusive? Why are people gonna watch the live stream? And Nicky and I were like pretty fast. We were on the same line, because if you have new music, you can do a live stream, feed your fans for like a month, 6 weeks. If you have new music again, you can do another live stream. But playing a lot of same shit all over again because you need to do a live stream, that's insane. So, I mean, Nicky has his own radio, like protocol radio show. So he's doing actually like every week a live stream. So you don't really need an extra live stream, but I think we did a couple, because we got a lot of questions of promoters who was asking for like a live stream. So of course you want to feed your fans. So if promoters are asking for a live stream set, then that's something, you can do. But we did it, I think we did it like twice. And now we're working on like a big virtual set. We recorded it like a couple of weeks ago with green screen, which is gonna take you to like different kind of worlds and make it more like entertaining. And so that's gonna be Nicky's really, that's gonna be his summer set, and then we're done.
How about you, Frank?
Yeah, I think all the others, they said the things I just also would say. Too many live streams are not really helpful. We did like 1 or 2 live streams for every artist during the last 8 weeks. And all the other streams were on request, like for promoters or for media partners or for companies, because they wanted us to do live streams for their employees or for their communities. And then it made sense. But just doing a live stream for nothing, like for just doing it, doesn't make so many sense.
Had you paid live streams for your artists, requests or offers with money?
Yes.
Yeah. You, Nicky?
Yes.
We had actually a bunch in the beginning with like promoters offering like some amount, but random promoters which were like literally not very well known. So there was no connection to the artist, where the artist said like, hey, why should we do that? So, but we didn't receive now any crazy requests, which is like pay by view or something like that. No.
Okay, how about you, Markus? Have you requests paid live streams?
Yes, yeah, and we did it as well, but we did it when we knew the promoter, or when we knew or when we liked the project, or when there was a kind of relationship.
Okay.
With the club promoter. But on the other side, we received tons of requests as well, which we refused.
Okay. Hatim, you had paid requests?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were from China. But
so could be a new business as well. So.
I really don't know, to be honest. I mean, Tomorrowland is trying is gonna do like a really paid thing, where you need to pay for a ticket.
Okay.
So I'm really curious how that's gonna be.
With a ridiculous high share for the artist.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, but yeah. I mean, it's a good thing, and it's not crazy, you get a couple, but Yeah, and you know, if you're doing a good thing on Twitch, you can earn some money. You know, there are like there are ways to earn some money as an artist, but you
Hey,
don't need to do it like.
we had a
Okay.
call with a lot of people from Twitch, and there's actually, when if you see the gaming industry, I mean, they're making 30, 40,000 euros with a show. And I think that that's the way to develop something with platforms like this, but you shouldn't do any random live stream for a couple of $100 just to please someone. I think it's just something where you have to work on.
Okay. Okay, that was my questions. Let's go to the audience questions. So we have the first high-rated one. Do you sign new talents at the moment, or how do research for new rookies these days? Frank.
Yeah, of course, we're always searching for new talents, and we sometimes kick old talents, and this creates space for new ones. And usually we find them in the internet, like on YouTube or SoundCloud. Sometimes we get like tips from promoters or from clubs. Actually, we signed Larry Luke, which is a very talented DJ lady from Germany, and we see a great potential in her. And so this is our new project, yes. And we found her because she had like kind of a hype last year. So we found her by, if you will tell it, public demand.
Okay. How about you, Markus? Are you signing new artists these days?
I just signed a new artist, but it's not a rookie, or it's not a new talent. It's more an established talent. With all the Corona crisis, she wanted to leave her UK agency and wanted to have an agency here in her hometown, Berlin. So yeah, I just signed her yesterday, and but it's not a new talent. An
Who is
established
it?
one.
Who is it?
Schneider.
Huh? Anja Schneider? Congrats. So it's the one you are doing the project together.
Yeah, and we were working on Looking United together as well. Yeah.
How about you, Michi?
Hey, for sure, we're always looking and also signing artists and have a look right now what to do. And I think it's also a kind of nice time because you going back and consuming music and listen to it and, you know, and find new sites. And before you sometimes didn't have even time to do that because you were in your like little hamster wheel going every day. So that's kind of nice to look out for music again.
Okay. How about you, Hatim? Looking for new artists?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. No, I just signed a producer, you know, who's making a lot of great music, and to be honest, you know, it gives you also more time now to listen to music, you know. So yeah, so I really just we just signed a new producer, like a beat maker. So he's doing a lot of things for like here in Holland, but also worldwide. Yeah.
Nice. So, as an artist manager, how much influence do you have on social media behavior of your artists, Frank?
We would love to have any influence, but sometimes no, we don't really have. We could give, and we do give advices what to do, what better not to do, but in the end, it's the artist's channel. It's its own thing, and in the end, they're all like adult people, so they're responsible for the things they post or not post.
Okay.
We can just give advices.
Okay. How about you, Hatim?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Frank.
Okay. So,
I mean,
Michi, your artists
Yeah, I
are
think-
not in social media, so
I know it's like we don't do this anymore. No, I agree with everyone. Like, hey,
too cool.
exactly. I think it's case, you know, if an artist does it right on social media, he's doing it by himself. But for sure, you're having things to discuss what could make sense or not. And but I think that's it, that you have social media because it's an artist and it's by himself, not just like someone is doing it for him.
Okay. How about you, Markus?
I think sometimes artists are asking and want to get feedback as well. Like, what do you think about my social media behavior? And of course, I mean, sometimes if there is something they have to take off, normally they do it. If you explain a bit why. But normally they are independent. They are independent, but sometimes they want to get some feedback if they are on the right way when it comes to social media.
Okay. How much are your managers, guys, involved into two wild after show parties? Okay.
What are you talking about? This is
I think let's leave this question. Okay. There is no after party.
no.
So, if you're looking for new artists, what are you looking for? Music skills, social media, live performance, character. Can you give number of these things in percentage? Hatim?
Wow.
How many percentage for music skills? Let's make it fast.
I mean, listen. If you're looking for a new artist, you always look for like a unique thing. You know, it's not following the trend; it's creating the trend. What you see a lot is when a new talent pops up, when a new sound pops up, everybody's copying it. You know, and then that's what they sending you, or that's what they making. But the first one who created that sound, that's the most important thing for a manager, because that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for a copycat. Or so music skills is very important. Being an influencer on social media, like looking good and stuff, that's not me. You know, if you have a million followers because you're looking good, then you can play some records, but you cannot produce a record. You know, that's
Maybe the girlfriend as an influencer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No. So I mean, every manager is different. The one is looking for a nice girlfriend who can play records and have an army who producing music for them. That's great. But for me personally, you know, I'm looking always for that unique factor, like the X factor of creating like a great sound and making yourself unique. So that's for me, that's 99%.
Okay. So Frank, give us some percentage. Music skills.
I also can say it's always the whole package which counts. If there's a really great musician who's doing everything himself, then of course like 99% should be music. But if there is one who is looking good and has a strong character and is not the best producer, then it's always a mixture of everything. A guy who is only doing very great music but is like a social nerd is not good, and the guy who's super good looking and is not able to play music is also not really good. So it's always a mixture of everything. I can't give any percentages.
So you guys helping a lot for new artists. Okay, so Mickey, do you have some percentage?
100.
100 for what? So music skills, how many percentage? Come on.
100.
100. Social media, how many percentage? 0.
100.
Because it's a commercial. Live performance, how many percentage?
I agree with everyone. I think it's the mixture out of everything. And I think that is like where it's probably in total should be over maybe 100. There must be something where you're like, okay, wow, that has the factor X, which makes sense. Sometimes I agree, it's maybe less music, but it's more character, and then it's more music and less character, but it needs this kind of balance and this uniqueness to make it relevant.
Okay, Markus, do you have some percentage for us? Or no?
Yes, I have to be 100% a fan of him, of her. I have to like the artist, his personality, music skills, and also his performance as a character, how he presents himself. And if I like it, if I'm a fan of it, then I would love to work for him or for her.
Okay. So, what's a regular share as a manager on the fees of the artist? So this is too personal and too much into details. Let's skip this question. After show parties, blah blah blah. Part 2. How can we fight against that monopoly where some bookers are more interested in money than in contributing and improving the electronic music scene worldwide? Michi.
Can you repeat the question?
Can't you read it? Can you see the question?
No, I can't.
Okay. How can we fight against a monopoly where some bookers are more interested in money than in contributing and improving the electronic scene worldwide?
Hey, then just don't book the artists and book the other artists and make them stronger that they are gone. I think, I think it's in all our interest to find also there the unique places, and it's not always about money. I think it's just like, for sure, if you have the best venue in the world, which is unique, you will get an artist at one point, and I think that is kind of, we have it also quite often when people say like, oh, you don't do this and you don't do that, but I think it's literally, it's not about the money only, it's about if you do a good job, the artists will come. And we probably in Berlin having very good examples where clubs not paying a lot of money and the people still enjoying to play, and I think that's, if the place is unique and it's great, and I think this is different for every artist. One artist prefers to have big stages, big crowds, others prefer small clubs. So you need to find this uniqueness also, but then you will book an artist for sure.
How about you, Mark?
I think it's a general approach. What you want to do, what you want to develop with your artist, and how you want to work on a career. And I think money is an important thing, but it's not the one and only reason to do it. And sometimes, if you discuss with your artist, if you work on some things which are really important for you in the career, I think the money will follow sometimes. So just concentrating on that is, I think, it's not the one and only interesting point of like working on a career. If you do that long time on a long distance with an artist, that's exactly against what other people are doing. And I think normally you will be more successful than these other mentioned agencies or these other mentioned bookers.
Okay. So Hatim, Frank, you guys are not bookers. So how about you? Your thoughts, Frank?
So to be honest, I really don't like the wording of this question, because it sounds a bit frustrated. So perhaps it's a DJ who wants to play somewhere and is not able to. I don't like the word fight. Why should I fight against anything? I try to find ways to go around it. If there are bookers interested in making money, or festivals interested in not paying the best fee, then we don't play them. Or they are so like important, like Tomorrowland or Coachella, then we play for free if it's necessary. Yeah, but I don't think that there's a need to fight against anything.
Okay. Hatim, how about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no need to fight it against anything. I don't think it's also a monopoly here. It's more like a market thing, and I think I don't think everybody. I can speak for myself. We're not doing this for like this long because it's all about the money. It's
Okay.
for an artist, it's also about the satisfaction. They want a great show. So we all know that if you play big festivals, that's a great show. So I don't really agree with this question.
Okay. So our last question, make it fast because we're in 1 hour already over. So just say yes or no, please. Is there a maximum number of clients a manager should represent? Michi?
Yes, for sure.
Markus?
Yeah.
Hatim?
Yeah, big time.
Frank?
Definitely a yes.
Okay. So guys, I want to thank you for your time. It was really fun. And yeah, it was interesting to hear now from the background of all artists how they resolve the situation and the crisis we have at the moment. I hope we go back to normal soon and go back to our normal work and see people dancing on the dance floor and festivals and clubs. Open everything again. We are tired of it, and that's my thoughts. And thank you guys. We want to also thank you to Affekt, to Ibiza Live Radio, to BCB Family. And we're coming back in 2-3 weeks for this talk with the labels. And stay tuned with MIXCON. And maybe it's interesting to hear what the labels are saying, because I think they are overflowed with music. How you guys said, they have tons of music. Let's see how the labels are handling it. Have a nice evening to you guys and you outside, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Millie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.